What's the name of it? Sha-na-na-na. Boom, boom. Take one.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Shoaib back for episode 12 of the One Mic podcast. As always, I got Amol and
What up?
Vivek
What up?
in the studio.
What up?
How you guys been?
I've been good. Chilling.
Yeah, busy week.
Yeah, work, Even though this is probably like the last work week where you're actually gonna do any work, but
Nah, I feel you. It's like everything's coming to an end. Like a little bit of good news coming my way this week. So
Oh shit.
I'm not.
Employment.
I don't want to share it with people yet, but yeah, a lot has happened.
Tentative employment. Let's go with that.
But a lot has happened since we last did an episode, especially in the music world.
Oh yeah. There's a bunch of albums that dropped.
A lot of albums, especially in the rap world, hip hop world, like R&B artists dropped a lot of albums. But first of all, we lost an artist in the hip hop world. Juice World unfortunately passed away. He was caught popping pills at
He was almost caught.
He was almost caught. And
Oh, we're terrible people.
rest in peace, Juice World. He had a couple of good songs out: "Lucid Dreams," "All Girls Are the Same."
Yep.
All those songs have been added to the playlist. Just gonna plug our playlist.
Wow.
Never done that before.
He dropped another album after all that stuff, didn't he?
Yeah, another album is coming out. It's expected to do pretty well.
Yeah,
As Sway Lee said, once a person dies, that's the best marketing that they can get. Comments that I don't necessarily agree with, right? Living artists do numbers.
Yeah.
You don't have to go die.
You don't have to die to do
That's your
numbers.
fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's rest in peace, Juice World. Sad to see another man go. It's obviously sad when like a young 21-year-old dies.
Yeah. We lost a lot of artists this year.
Yeah.
And
I don't know, Nipsey the greatest.
Nipsey the
Death
greatest.
out of all that. That was.
We lost Lil Xan.
I never heard a single song by him.
Yeah.
I have no idea who that is.
We were gonna get to Lil Xan a little bit later.
Yeah.
He officially announced his retirement.
He's gonna do clothing now, right?
In all honesty, I'm very happy that he announced his retirement from music because he's just trash. I think he should retire from social media in general because he is what everybody should think is garbage. Musically, I've heard a couple of his songs. I've tried to listen to him, and it's not something that I enjoy at all. It's not something that I want to listen to ever. As a social media personality, absolute garbage. Like, he is the scum of society, in my opinion.
Wow.
And I mean, good for him for branching off and doing like other shit like clothing and all of that crap, but honestly, dude, like you gotta fix yourself. And all this bullshit that you're coming out with saying you're all pro mental health and all of that shit, it's not legit, it's not real. And as someone who's actually been through like mental health issues and all of that stuff, I can see through it. And I've read a lot about it. I've heard other artists talk about it, and it's just you're just a piece of shit. That's all it is.
Yo, this all right, yo.
Going
No,
off,
it is.
bro. Go off, dog.
But going back to like Juice World popping pills and like overdosing, having seizures, and dying on a plane.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. You're a talented guy. It's a narrative that's been pushed in the music industry a lot over the last couple of years. Right? A lot of people have been talking about popping pills, doing all of this shit. Another artist that was recently in the ICU for the exact same reason as Juice WRLD is French Montana.
Yeah.
Right? Man drops another album, but right before his album is released, he's in intensive care.
Wait, what was he in for?
He was okay. So the story is he did an interview with academics, like DJ Academics. He has a show, and basically he explains that he hadn't taken a vacation in so long, and he just started enjoying himself a little too much in this like little birthday vacation that he was having, where he was popping a lot of pills, doing sipping a lot of lean, drinking a lot, smoking weed, whatever. It's getting to that point now where it's like people are becoming aware of this issue.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, it's like if you're looking for sympathy for French Montana, like I don't have any for you.
No, I mean, obviously I don't have sympathy for it either. Like you're kind of doing it. It's your own choice. No one forced you to do it, and because it's affecting you now. Now you're bringing it out in the open.
Yeah.
Like you had no problem with it before.
Exactly. And you're
promoting it through your music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just this culture of popping pills. Like, I mean, if it does, if you get the satisfaction that you want from it, sure. And there are some people that genuinely need them to succeed through life or get through life, But it's just not cool anymore.
Yeah.
And I think what we'll notice shifting into the next decade is a lot of awareness.
Yeah. Well, it kind of reminds me of a lot of how like rap's been through phases, right? Like there's been gangster rap, and now it's like kind of like druggy rap. And because of like gangster rap, there was a lot of people that were dying and shit.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone knows Pac, Biggie, etc. And back then, the thing was like, oh, you guys are promoting, gang violence, all this shit, and now this is the effect of it.
Yeah,
now it's the same thing now.
Now the culture has shifted where you're not actually promoting gang violence as much.
Gang violence is done. Gangster rappers they're barely out there anymore.
Yeah, I mean there's a few that are out there still for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean it's the remnants, right? But
yeah.
like there's not so many anymore.
Now speaking of French, he did come out with an album. I posted it on the page and everything. I'm gonna be honest, like I had a chance to listen to it multiple times, and I've ranted about this before in the past about artists being lazy and not putting out genuine work, and that's something that I did not expect from French Montana because his last album was pretty solid.
Yeah.
His new album was, in my opinion, absolute garbage. He has 20 tracks on the album.
6 of them were.
And 6 of them were tracks that he had already released earlier on in the year. That's just a way to pump your numbers up.
That's lazy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're coming out with tracks with Drake, 2 tracks, right? That no stylist, no shopping. That's the other track, right? Everybody's heard them. They've been on the radio.
We put on that track with Kodak Black.
With Kodak Black,
Lockjaw, which is like.
Oh, what's going on, bro?
March Madness started playing.
But yeah, Lockjaw, which is like a very old song. We're talking like 7-8 months old.
Yeah,
song. I think it's even like a year old song.
Yeah, the track with Cardi B, the track with Blueface,
the track with the City Girls.
It's just not cool for you to come out with an album like just all your singles that you've been featured on or that you've gotten features for.
Yeah,
you just throw them on your album to get your numbers up.
Yeah,
and it's just, I guess it's like it's what's happening in the culture, right? And it's just something that I don't agree with.
It's gonna happen more and more though.
I agree.
Like
which is sad.
Especially because nowadays, like now, I don't know if you guys heard, but like Billboard's gonna start counting YouTube streams.
Yeah.
For their album sales and stuff.
That news just actually dropped today.
Yeah, and so like YouTube streams are now, it's not gonna be like not counted anymore.
Yeah.
They're gonna actually promote it more.
And that means, if French Montana comes out with a new video, right, and he's got a couple of people in it, right, which you can get pretty easily, like a couple other artists or maybe an actor or whatever.
That song with Cardi B, Post Malone.
Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden you have like 10 million views.
Yeah.
And now it's helping you push your numbers up, and now all of a sudden you have a platinum record for no reason.
Yeah.
Right? it's been happening all throughout the last couple of years, especially as streaming services have gotten bigger and better.
Yeah.
And just it's not something that I'm okay with. I think that we're going to see that your numbers aren't going to be a true reflection of how successful you are, because you can always inflate them.
Yeah.
You know, in a way that's not organic.
Yeah.
Other shit that happened in the music industry, like we said, there's a decent amount.
To be fair, I did like a few songs off that French album.
Okay, so the song with Belly
Yeah.
was pretty decent.
Was
the
that
song-
the one with the? Oh no, the Quavo song.
The Quavo song is pretty
Yeah.
decent. There's a Juicy J track, 50 and 100.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a
good
fire
one.
track.
I like that one too.
So yeah, there are 4 or 5 tracks. I'm just saying, like, for an artist as big as French Montana, who's been in like mainstream media for a pretty long time now,
Yeah.
right? I just expected more. I expected him to not come out with like.
To be fair, like his albums, I can't remember a single French album that like
That went big.
that was big that I don't remember. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just remember like
He's a-
songs. from
Yeah,
him,
he's
you
a
know?
single rapper.
Yeah, he's a single rapper. He's a feature rapper.
Yeah.
He does it
Which is
good,
fair.
But
Another person who passed, unfortunately, it was last year, XXX.
Yep.
Excuse me. He dropped an album last year as well, or his album just dropped as well.
Yep.
Obviously, he didn't drop it himself. He's dead.
yeah,
I honestly thought that was a fantastic album.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd listen to it. Shorter tracks, right? Which I've mentioned that I'm not a huge fan of.
Well, I mean, they had to.
they have a lot of
recording
verses
material,
There's not a lot
right?
of verses.
Not
you
a
know?
lot of-
There's not a lot of material to work with.
Yeah, Trippie Redd came out with an album. Trippie Redd is a pretty
I don't
famous
listen-
artist.
I don't listen to Trippie
I actually had a chance to listen to a few of his tracks.
Meh.
It's not really my genre of music, but his sales are pretty solid, so good for him.
This album they put out is like almost a carbon copy of his last album, and his last album was pretty decent, I thought. But like this album was like, you're just doing the same shit over again. You know, he does that little like singing voice, you know. And it's
Trippie
just-
Redd's a weird dude, man.
Yeah, and it's like it gets old pretty quick.
Yeah, but he does have a couple of good features on there as well.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. I like songs with features on them.
Yeah.
So one thing that I wanted to get your opinion on, right? Like Time Magazine, obviously everybody has talked about the cover of Greta Thunberg being on it.
Yeah.
Right? Now, along with the cover, they also released the most influential artist
Oh,
of the year. Do you want to take a guess at who it is?
Lizzo.
It is Lizzo.
Yeah, I feel like you already knew.
No, I didn't know. That was actually a guess. It just works so well that she would be on that.
Yeah. So I wanted to get your thoughts on it because I have a rant that I can go off
But
on.
we all hate Lizzo.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say we're not big Lizzo fans.
Yeah, we don't like Lizzo, and that's facts. And after what she pulled the Staples Center, I can safely say I really hate her.
No, it's like speaking of the Staples Center act, it's a family event.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting at a basketball game. I don't want to see nobody's ass. I don't care how hot the girl is, whatever it is.
I
It's
mean-
like, nah, yo, it's just wrong, right?
There are
There's
exceptions
Okay,
to that statement.
Like what Shoaib was saying
there's
is you're gonna
kids
get like
watching.
secondhand embarrassment for the person. Like, yeah, it might be a hot girl,
Yeah.
but you're like, what are you doing? You know?
The
And-
thing is, like, if it wasn't Lizzo, if it was just like a random person that was wearing that,
Yo, they
You know.
probably wouldn't have even been let in.
they wouldn't have been let in. So it's like a double standard, you know?
In all honesty, if it was someone else, they would have probably been kicked out.
Yeah, easily.
If it
Facts.
wasn't like an artist,
And they were saying that two girls. It was all over fucking Twitter and shit. It was during the baseball playoffs.
The World
The
Series.
the two girls that flashed the pitcher.
Yeah, yeah.
They got kicked
they got
out.
banned from like every stadium or something.
that's not any worse than what Lizzo did.
Yeah.
No, and it goes to like a deeper issue that we have, right? Like a lot of people are complaining about Greta making it to the Time magazine like most influential person.
Yeah.
I get it. She's actually become like a household name. Like everybody knows who Greta is. But it's like with Lizzo, it kind of feels like someone's pushing an agenda,
Facts.
in my opinion,
Yeah.
right? Excuse me. Apparently, I'm
Someone
feeling
said
the
Lizzo's an industry plant to take down the black community.
no. It's not cool. Like to put up someone just because of the way that they look.
Look, we let's be real. We all know why she's popular and why everyone's pushing for her to be popular.
Yeah.
It's because she's fat as fuck, and she likes to show it off, and that's what we're going for in 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
Fine, but don't pretend like we all have to fucking like it.
Yeah. I mean, like, what's her name? Tried doing this thing too, like Megan Trainor.
Oh yeah, she tried it.
She tried it, but
She walked so Lizzo could run.
She walked, so Lizzo could also walk.
Yeah, true, because Lizzo running, that's not happening. Oh man, Megan Trainor was fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Thank God she disappeared.
Like in terms of entertainer of the year, I just don't think like she actually qualifies for that
Like, yeah, if you wanted to
for
put
that
somebody
title.
like okay, put like Post Malone. He had the most streaming numbers this year.
Exactly.
Post Malone had an insane year.
Yeah, just put him up there. I'm not a huge Post Malone fan, but
Nope.
whatever, he did the numbers.
Yeah.
And that's not a dude that looks like a normal average person,
Yeah, like
right? Like
He's a pretty unique person.
yeah,
he has a very unique personality, right? It like physically he's very unique looking.
Yeah, he's an interesting looking guy. He dresses
Right.
like a hobo, you know. he ticks some boxes.
Like
hobo
there are a
acceptance.
lot of artists that were deserving of that title versus Lizzo, and it's just not okay for something like as big as
Lizzo's been
Time
big
meant.
for like a couple months, man.
Yeah.
Like,
For real.
this is a year. This is the award for a year.
Yeah, and in all honesty, like I can't name one Lizzo track,
But The Truth Hurts. That's the only song that blew up.
and which is it's sad to see, and that's kind of like the end of my rant. It's just I don't think a person that doesn't actually put out enough content
Yeah.
for you to appreciate, for the average person to appreciate, making that or acquiring that title, it just doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever.
Yeah, but it's very fitting that she got it. For
But
all-
it was just a very 2019 move to give it to someone like Lizzo.
yeah, it's garbage. And the pendulum. Was it pendulum or pendulum?
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 Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna shift heavy. Like you keep pushing this garbage at us, and eventually people are just gonna get fed up.
Yeah.
Same thing with politics. We're not gonna get into politics on this show. We don't do that. But with entertainment, even like you keep feeding us garbage, eventually it'll just shift for the worst. People are gonna take back that.
I agree. It's just how far are you gonna push before it's like it's going the other way?
Yeah, super annoying. All right, I got a question for both of you. What are the biggest red flags when you meet new people? And I'm not talking like on a date or just girls or whatever. I'm just in general, like someone brings a friend along and they just seem like a wacky person or whatever.
Yeah.
Red flag. Well, like what are red flags?
Probably the biggest red flag would be like someone who's like opens up to you about something like deep right away.
Yo, that's a good one.
Like-
I ain't be surprised how many people actually do that.
Yeah, I know. I've obviously we've all met people like that. That like right away, your first conversation, first time you meet them, and they're all of a sudden asking you something deep.
Yeah, or they're revealing deep stuff.
They're
about-
revealing deep stuff
yeah.
about themselves.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, what? Like I don't know you.
You got a story for us, Samuel?
No, not a story, but like not anything I can think of right now. But like, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I was in a smoking area outside of a club once. It was here in Calgary. And there's this brown uncle. I'm guessing he's in his 40s or whatever. I don't know this guy. He wasn't just random though. He was sort of with like the people that I was like with that night, but I didn't talk to him.
Yeah.
So I see him in the smoking area. I go stand next to him because I kind of know him.
Yeah.
And then he starts telling me about how he cheats on his wife like serially. Like
Yeah.
he loves doing it. He like goes deep into the story and he tells me, but at the end he's like, but one thing, I always go back to her at the end of the night. And I'm like, dude, I don't even know you.
It's like that same. Remember that taxi driver we had in New York?
Yeah, that guy was hilarious.
That guy told us the exact same shit, and I was like, well, "This is a 20-minute taxi that you're just
Yep.
gonna discuss your marital problems and shit."
Yeah, that was a funny taxi driver. Yeah, how about you? So red flags.
I mean, I haven't talked to a lot of new people, like random people lately, right? The deep thing, yeah, like someone who's trying to get deep with you right away,
Yeah.
it is a little weird for me, but maybe that's just like a personality trait.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Personality trait
No,
to
like
have.
for me, like as in,
Oh, for you.
yeah,
You don't
like as
hearing.
in, if someone's opening up to me right away and I don't really know them like that, I don't know if I just have walls built up and I'll just be like, yeah, that's cool, bro. Like,
Yeah, but I think everybody has that kind of wall built up, you know, where you're just like, how
I
are
think
you?
You should.
How are you gonna like? What do you even reply to that with? You know?
Yeah, it's
like you ain't gonna go saying like to some random dude that, yo, bro, I've been cheating on my girl.
Yeah.
Too, like,
it was like, bro,
What are you gonna say? Like, oh, that's bad, bro. That's,
yeah.
I didn't say nothing.
like,
But
yeah, actually, that's actually true. Like most of the time, you're not gonna say anything. You're just gonna be like, all right,
yeah,
cool, good for you.
cool.
I mean, in those situations, you kind of just have to agree with the person and say what they're like,
Yeah,
acknowledge the fact that you heard them,
yeah.
and then kind of just agree with them because you don't know how they're going to perceive something. Like if you say, yo, bro, that's fucked up.
Yeah, straight up.
Like, why the fuck do you cheat on your wife every night?
Yeah.
And then go home and then flex the fact that you're at the end of the night, bro.
Yeah, no, that
I
was
just,
his flex.
I
That he
just
always goes
exactly,
on.
and most people that are cheating are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's saying, yo, at the end of the night, bro, like you gotta have your girl,
Word.
right? It's like, what do you want me to say in that situation? One thing that I don't like is like when I meet people and they just start flexing their lifestyle in general,
Yeah.
Facts.
right? Like,
That's actually a red flag too.
right?
Yeah.
It's just you come up into like you start a conversation with someone and they're flexing about like how much money they got or like the fact that they're in like a very high position in life.
Yeah.
And that to me doesn't show your personality.
No,
I
not
was
at
gonna
all.
Like,
say, that's always a red flag when you talk to brown guys. 100%.
Brown guys love saying that
Oh,
shit.
the second they meet a new person, it's
Yeah.
always like that cockiness, you know?
Yep.
That cockiness is like, fuck, man.
Like that's not a personality,
Yeah.
right? That to me is like
That's insecurity coming out.
exactly. And that's a good way of putting it. That's just insecurity coming out. It's like what I want to see. Like when I talk to a random stranger, right? I want to get to know them, sure,
Yeah.
right? But I want to get to know them through a median,
Yeah.
right? You get what I'm saying? Like something like we have something in common that we're talking about, and then we build a relationship off of that.
Yeah. Because that's exactly what you're doing. When you
Like-
meet somebody new, you're like, yo, what
What are
music
you
do
into?
Yeah.
Yeah,
what
what,
are you into?
what do you watch sports? Do you do
Yeah.
this? And you'll find something eventually
Yeah.
that you can connect with. But it's like if they're just cockiness and just like, yo, I do this, I
Yeah.
got that, and it's like, okay, good for you, bro.
It's just-
It's
You
like
just-
at that point, it's like, what are you trying to do? You're trying to compare your life with my life?
yeah.
Like, what is that going to do for our friendship or our relationship or our like, just us knowing each other?
Yeah.
Past this
You
conversation,
will forever be known as the guy that I met that was flexing about something after.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like someone else brings you up, I'll be like, oh, that guy?
And honestly, like what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to like my actual friends and just clown you.
Thanks. You're just
You're-
a joke for a little
you're-
while.
Exactly, and you're just gonna be bringing that person up over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're that person.
Like the last person that the last random person that I actually had like a full on conversation with. You guys were both there. I honestly forget the dude's name. We met him at a mutual friend's house,
Okay. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now a conversation with him was completely different. Like we had a mutual interest, which was shisha,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the guy started talking to me about like just flavor, and then like after that it transitioned into like hookahs and then just like normal life stuff.
Yeah. He was really excited about hookah.
He was almost as
That's cool because you could tell he didn't have anybody to talk
Yeah.
about it with.
Yeah.
And then we came along and he was able to talk to us.
But the point of that story was, it's like that's how you should build a friendship with someone,
Yeah.
right? I'm not saying like I built a friendship with that dude. I don't even remember his name.
I think his name was Hamza. That's my guess.
I
want to
don't
say
think it was.
I feel like it started with
No,
an
Hamza
H.
was the other guy that was there.
Oh.
It was like, I'm not gonna say the dude's last name, but there was a Hamza there.
Oh yeah, there was a Hamza there.
There was a Hamza there. That Hamza's jovel as fuck. So that Hamza, if you're listening, you're jovel as fuck.
Define trouble for people.
Oh yeah, not
J-
everyone's.
Jovel is
Yeah, you have no personality.
Annoying.
And whatever personality you have is annoying.
yeah, it's just annoying. I guess is the translation that I can think of. It probably translates to something a little bit deeper than annoying, but
We had a conversation with at a dinner once, and they were bringing up their like marital status and like not that they were cheating on somebody, but just like their husband that they brought over from like Cuba or something, and just like going deep into detail about that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was weird as hell.
Almost like, yeah, I'm just trying to eat my steak, man.
Yeah, I was like, yo, listen, like this is a terrible conversation. Like you're bringing up all these issues, your life story and all that. And I'm like, it's weird.
yeah. I was actually at an event recently. It was a Christmas party. It was an office Christmas party, and it obviously I wasn't employed at the time, so it wasn't mine. It was Jenna's Christmas party. I'm in an uncomfortable position because I'm with all of her coworkers, right? And we're obviously all hanging out together. And in that situation, it's like what I realized is like we kind of just tried to find common ground first.
Yeah.
Right? And it ended up being a pretty decent night. And I think that's to answer your question. It's like, what's a turn off? It's like, what's not a turn off is the fact that like you just find common ground, make small talk,
Yeah.
get over it. And if that small talk turns into something deeper, then it does.
Yeah, for sure.
But
But
if
sometimes it won't always.
It doesn't always
No.
translate into that,
No.
but it is what it is at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? You're not going to find deep relationships or deep friendships with everybody in your first meeting.
Yeah.
Um,
No, you definitely won't. Yeah.
even with us, it's like it took years for us to actually, years and a lot of like extenuating circumstances
Yeah.
for us to end up in the same room
I'm sure
together.
when we first had conversations, it was probably pretty lame. Like,
Probably, yeah.
I don't even remember what our first conversations were like, but
Yeah.
I don't imagine we were not friends right away, right? So,
No. And it's like as soon as like someone would bring up something weird, I'd feel uncomfortable
Yeah.
and try to change the subject, or I just kind of like, say, all right, cool thing. It was nice meeting you.
Yeah.
And then move on.
Yeah.
Like
I remember this one time. Another red flag would be like politics.
Yeah.
I remember one time there was this white dude, and like almost right away he was like, "What do you think about Donald Trump?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know."
If a white person asks you that, man, that's a hard question to answer.
Yeah, I was just like, "Oh, I don't know." He's like, and then he was like, "Yo, I hate Donald Trump,"
Oh, okay.
and then he just goes off on how much he hates Donald Trump. And I'm like, yeah, like obviously, like I don't like Donald Trump either, but there's no point to this conversation.
With
like,
politics, it's like
yeah, like there's
like I've worked customer service enough to know like what's acceptable and what's not, and it's like the cheapest form of conversation is politics.
Yeah.
Right? Like you don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah.
You just bring up politics and try to find someone's opinion.
Yeah.
And it's just not a way that I like to start my
Yeah,
conversations.
I don't like talking about
Yeah.
politics.
I don't
with
like
anybody
With
I
it.
don't
random
It's a dead end
people.
conversation. That and religion. These two are
Yeah.
dead
we're
end
the same thing,
conversations.
Like,
Both parties leave the conversation with their opinions not being changed because they're
Yeah.
both stubborn aspects of life.
Yeah.
So there's no point talking
yeah,
about
and
it.
then and personally, I'm never gonna open up about politics or religion with
Yeah.
somebody I just met.
Yeah.
Like even somebody I decently know, I'm not gonna really open up like that. That's just for me. Like that's more of a personal thing that I keep. Like I talk it with you guys, but I'm not gonna say it with people I don't know.
That's the weird thing, like missionaries and stuff, man. Like, never mind the other person in that exchange, but as like the person like trying to go around and spread the word,
Yeah.
like, don't you feel kind of awkward bringing
Yeah, but
such like a deep
the
topic?
thing about missionaries is like that's their life.
And it's their job.
It
It's their job,
it
yeah.
defines how they live their life.
Yeah,
It's
and for
so
them,
like over encompassing that like that's all they have.
yeah, I guess
it's deeper than just like building a relationship with someone,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like
it's true.
for them, it's not just building a relationship. It's like you're basically trying to change their beliefs and
Yeah.
values and like their moral code, their ethical code, like all of that shit.
Yeah.
And you have you take the salesman approach to it.
Yeah.
Right? Like people do it, and some people feel some sort of righteousness from completing those tasks.
Yeah.
Me personally, like you're not going to come up to me and tell me certain things and convince me to do something that I don't want to do.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like the chances of me being swayed by whatever you're saying is like almost 0%. Like
And I feel like that's the case with anyone that's in their mid 20s, late 20s, right? Going like and beyond, like in their 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like there comes a time in everybody's life where their beliefs and their values are kind of set in stone.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? You have the ability to change them a little bit. Like, you know, you can change your views on certain things. You can
Yeah.
value certain things a little bit more than other things.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily going to be because of one person coming and talking to you.
no.
It might be. Everybody's personality is a little bit different, but for the average person, I feel like that's not the case. It's like you can watch all these shows and you can have all the facts in your face, but it's not necessarily going to do what the other person wants it to do.
Yeah. Like the easiest conversations for me is like sports.
Sports is a great one.
Sports is the easiest.
Sports, music,
Yeah.
you know, like art forms,
Yeah,
like you,
because even
it's
if
subjective.
yeah, because even if like someone is like, if someone's an Oilers fan or
Yeah.
something, right? I can still clown them, even if I don't really know them. I can still be like, yeah, your team sucks.
And there's like an
You know?
acceptable level of like trolling
Yeah, exactly.
that is norm.
It's expected in sports.
Exactly.
You know?
It's like if someone comes up to me and says that they're like a Charlotte Hornet fan,
Yeah.
like
you're gonna clown them.
I'm gonna be like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like how?
and they'll expect it. They'll know what's gonna come.
Exactly. And then
But it's not the same thing's not gonna happen if they come up to you and tell you, yeah, I'm a Jehovah's Witness,
yeah,
and you're gonna be like, oh, fuck you, like you're a clown. That's a different conversation.
exactly.
That changed the
It's like
conversation.
it's just too deep.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like religion, politics. It's too deep, and that's just something that you don't want to have on your first conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's to answer your question, Vivek.
Yeah.
What was your biggest red flag?
People who are quick to say weird things. Like I remember there's this guy that I was with Chris and Archana, and there's this guy that walked up and started having a conversation with us. And he just started making really crude jokes or something about sharing his wife or something.
Oh, that's the worst.
It was really weird. Like he was actually we could have had a normal conversation with the guy.
Yeah.
But then he started getting all weird.
Yeah.
Like why don't say things that you shouldn't be saying.
Like there are acceptable boundaries,
Yeah.
right? That everybody is aware of.
Yeah.
And in your first meet and greet, like you just don't want to don't want to like pass those boundaries. You don't want to cross those lines.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel, at least.
Also, I've noticed people in the minimal interaction I've had with people who have had addictions in the past, or like a criminal record,
Oh,
there's some for some reason they're really quick to bring it up.
they're always quick to
I've
do
had an addiction, or I did this in the past and I was arrested. I was like, why are you telling me this, bro? That's creepy stuff. Keep it to yourself if I don't know you.
I don't see that as like a bad thing though.
If you
I think that's
bring
like
it,
a
okay, let's say
decent,
I
like-
ask someone, do you want to have a drink, and they say no, I haven't. That's fine. Like if you're telling me why you won't drink. If you just bring it up out of nowhere,
like
that's kind of weird to me.
Fair.
If there's a reason for you saying it, sure, yeah. But I feel, and I think Amol agrees, it's like people that have had those issues in the past somehow like work it into their
they
conversation.
always say it right away. Yeah.
Maybe they're just looking for validation.
Yeah, I guess because it's obviously like a big
It's a big like
thing that's
in-
happened in their life.
Exactly. It's like it's an event. It's like a memory that they're holding on to,
Yeah.
trying to work on, like trying to better themselves.
Yeah. So Amol, you got some internet terms, bro.
As usual, I do.
Always coming with the heat.
I was going with the heat. So the first term. See if you guys get this one. I think maybe Vivek you will. Shoaib as usual. Maybe not. But lurker.
Person who's creeping.
Kind of. Yeah,
Yeah,
mostly
It's like
true.
you're lurking, you're creeping.
Yeah, you got it right. I mean, it's in the context of like Reddit, where you lurk on subreddits, but you don't post.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
you're
You're
involved in an internet forum or something of that
I mean,
sort.
I don't even think it's limited to that. It's like you're part of a group chat. You're not actually you're reading all the conversation.
You're reading, but you're not replying.
but you're not replying. And it's like
We've seen that quite a bit.
no, for sure, it happens. I think it happens with everybody.
So do you guys do that a lot? Lurking?
Nah,
You don't?
I don't believe in it.
You don't believe in
Like-
it?
Nah, it's like I like something, I like it.
Yeah.
I want to retweet something, I retweet it.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
guess
like,
you're not
if-
you're not usually part of like forums and shit, right? Like
Yeah,
No,
you're
but-
not a big redditor, so.
No, but I mean, I'm just saying, like in terms of social media presence.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I enjoy something.
Yeah.
Or if I want to be a part of something, I'll be a part of it right away, right? And like a person who's lurking isn't necessarily just actively participating.
Yeah.
In discussions that he or she enjoys. It's like sometimes it's like you see something that you don't necessarily want to care about or care about in general.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of like go past it.
Yeah.
Like I don't like, even if I have nothing to say, like I'll just say something once in a while.
I mean,
like-
yeah, you kind of do. Yeah, on
Like,
Twitter.
that's
Twitter,
just-
you
that's-
always tweet out some shit every couple.
Yeah,
days.
I mean, that being said, it's like most of the stuff that I follow, most of the discussions that I'm a part of, or that take place around my social circle,
Yeah.
are of my interest.
Yeah, but at the
Right?
same time, like there's people that post a lot,
Yeah.
like
I don't
as
really
in like
post on Reddit.
not like just commenting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I barely ever in like years and years I've been on the internet
Yeah.
for a while now.
Yeah, we've been on that internet.
We've been on the
bro.
internet, bro, and I don't think there's too many comments. I don't
Yeah.
comment. Like I don't think you guys either have commented on like YouTube videos.
No, fuck no. Who
Or
has time
like-
to comment on YouTube videos?
or
man?
like-
I don't even watch a lot of YouTube
Yeah,
videos,
like-
so for me, it's like that's unnecessary.
It's weird. Like I just don't like. I don't care enough to comment. I remember like way back, maybe I made a couple comments on Reddit. That's it. But for the most part, like I just don't say shit.
Yeah.
How about you, Vivek?
Yeah, no, I lurk for the most part.
For the most part, what's
Sometimes I'll comment. But usually, like, if I do comment on Reddit, it'll be like music production stuff.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Like just
Like
chime-
stuff you know.
Yeah, so if I know something, I'll. But even then, I think about it. Like, do I really want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Do I want to? Do I want to engage?
Yeah, because the thing is like, you're always kind of like wary of like trolls. You don't want to get into like some shit with somebody, you know?
Troll convo.
Yeah. This is a waste of your time, waste of everybody else's time.
Yep. All right, what's the next term?
Next term is called, I don't know if you guys know this because I did not know this before, but white labeling.
Yeah, I feel like I do know that, but
White labeling. Should I have any ideas?
is that just like branding someone without
It's-
really like?
It's
Just like a generalization.
it's
Oh.
related to that, yeah.
That's all I can come up with. You're white labeling someone. You're grouping them in. You're just labeling them.
No. You no.
Okay, I was warmer before.
You were warmer before. You're colder now.
Okay.
Sure.
So what I would think it was, what white labeling is like, like I'll put it just into like a scenario situation, right? Like say you're from the hood, right?
I'm telling you, you ice cold right now, but keep going.
Like you go out, you start, like you make it, you have money in your bank account or whatever,
Yeah.
right? You start investing, you start doing all of that shit.
Yeah.
You start doing what normally is known as white people stuff.
Oh, he went literal.
Yeah.
You're very cold. I can guarantee you're way off.
Am I off?
You're I'll tell you,
Alright,
bro.
so what is
The
it?
weather outside, that's where you are right now. You cold, bro.
Chilly.
So white labeling, specifically, I'll define it. It's a product or service produced by one company that other companies rebrand to make it appear as if they made it.
Oh,
China?
we were fucking way off. I was off too.
Yeah.
That was
But
close.
you were talking about branding and stuff, and that's where like the branding part comes into it.
All right.
Because what companies will do is they'll take like something generic and they'll put a brand on it,
Right,
and
okay.
be like, "Oh, we made this."
Right. Okay.
So where this came up from was that there's a YouTube controversy recently. One of the biggest YouTube channels out there, Unbox Therapy.
Mm-hmm.
They basically just, as their name suggests, they unbox technology,
Mm-hmm.
and they recently came out with a phone case, and it was supposed to be like a Kevlar thin phone case,
Right.
and they were like, I've made this, I created a website for it, I created a new brand for it, go and buy it. Controversy came when there was another producer of phone cases. They said, well, no, this is exactly the same as our product.
Right.
Like it looks the same. There's only a few small differences, but otherwise it's like essentially the same product.
Okay.
And then people were like, yo, what the fuck? You're just stealing from these guys.
Yeah.
And that became a big thing until, people started digging deeper into it.
Like everybody does it.
And they realized that, that company, they don't make it either.
Yeah.
No one's making it. In fact, they're both actually sourcing from the same Chinese supplier.
Right.
They're just, both of them are just rebranding.
That's that Alibaba.com.
Yeah,
bro.
they were just rebranding what's already out there. And the thing is, like, this goes beyond just like, small products like that. Like, it happens a lot in clothing, and it happens a lot in like software, and just there's a lot of fucking places that happens. Like, I'm sure you guys have noticed H&M or Zara, they'll take famous like clothes, like not clothes, but like shoe designs, right?
Yeah.
And like Yeezys, for example, and they'll have something like similar to that, generic, similar to that.
Kanye has a verse, bro.
Yeah,
Oh my
and
god,
then-
man, it's like she got the same shoes as my wife, but she copped
yeah,
them
that
at all.
Aldo.
Though.
I
Hey.
mean, they just take it. And
It's
they'll
like that
put
off
their
the
brand
wall
on it.
flow. It's yeah, okay.
You about to give us a full 16.
I mean, like, so do you guys feel like that's ethically good? Like,
Listen,
do
like
something
at
like
the
that?
end of the day, it's like we all understand that brand creates a false value.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just society. That's capitalism.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Now, if the product is the same quality or whatnot, me myself, like, I'm not a brand whore,
yeah,
so I don't really care. Like, if in terms of clothing, in terms of like usage of products,
yeah,
like I prefer to actually go for the best deal versus the best brand.
Yeah.
Right. Granted that quality of the product is relatively the same.
Yeah.
That's just my personal belief. Other people, they believe differently. Like they associate a brand with quality.
Yeah.
Right. Which is totally fair. I mean, in certain products, like for example, like in a phone, right? I know that like a $600 phone can do the same thing as like a $1,500 iPhone.
yeah. For
I
most people,
understand
100%.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I pick and choose when it comes to when it comes to like normal stuff, like if I just want a black t-shirt, I know how I'm going to be using that black t-shirt, right? I don't want to go spend $70 on a t-shirt that's completely plain when I can get like 5 of those for $7, and I know that I'd rather just have that in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? Like I know that I would just rather wear like a new shirt every 2 weeks versus getting one for $70.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I mean, I do the same shit with like sports jerseys and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten so many like fake jerseys from China.
No, exactly. It's like
Like
I have no need to actually go out and support a brand
I'm not paying $150
for a jersey.
Yeah,
for a jersey. When
jersey
I can get
prices are fucking insane, man.
Yeah, I can get
And-
the same thing for $20. Comes
Yeah.
with the labels, come with everything,
Yeah.
great quality. I've had all of them for like years now.
Yeah.
They're great. They
Yeah,
work
man,
perfect.
jerseys are
Exactly. So, I mean, white branding, sure. Like, I agree with it. And I believe in getting a better price for the product that you're purchasing.
Yeah.
Right? As granted that the quality is the same. Now, if you're compromising on quality, it makes a difference. Do I necessarily associate quality with a brand? No. In certain, like for certain products, I do.
Yeah.
But for most stuff,
Based off your own perception, like
based off like
certain brands have a certain
perception,
quality.
exactly, perception, actual usage,
Yeah.
right? Like past experiences go into it.
Yeah.
Right? Like for electronics, I tend to lean towards
Electronics, I
a-
don't fuck
a
around.
brand.
Yeah, high end stuff.
Right?
Electronics.
like anything that's actually valued more or is just a little bit more expensive. Like I want to do my research and say, all right, this is what's going to be the best for me. Or this is a brand that I associate myself with.
Yeah.
But apart from that, like no.
But do you feel that white labeling, like, kind of stifles like innovation? In the sense, like, some companies, they'll just be like, "Fuck it. Why
I think it does the opposite. I
why
think
are
what
we-
it does is it forces innovation,
Yeah,
right? Because what you're doing is you're basically it's the same product.
Yeah.
Right. One product will be priced at say $50. The next product is priced at $30. Right. If everybody recognizes the fact that the quality of the product is the exact same, they will lean towards the $30 product. Now that $50 company is forced to innovate,
Yeah.
to create demand.
But what if they know their quality's better, but the average person doesn't?
It's their responsibility to market it.
True. Yeah.
It's an onus on them
Yeah.
to actually go out and say, this is what's up. This is like my shirt, my t-shirt. If you wash it 5 times, it's not going to be like the fabric isn't going to be loose.
Yeah. And like going back to that Yeezy example, like people aren't going and buying replica Yeezys or whatever because the quality's the same.
Yeah.
They're doing it because they can't physically purchase
They can't even afford that shit.
Yeah.
those Yeezys. Like that's a pricing issue. That's your
Yeah.
problem as like Adidas.
Yeah.
That they're not pricing it
Fairly.
fairly,
Yeah.
and there's not enough of them that people are buying them.
And again, it comes down to capitalism, right? Like
Yeah.
that's just the reality of the world. It's like you do pay a premium price for a product that's artificially labeled as premium.
Yeah.
Right? Like Yeezy shoes, don't get me wrong, like I think that they look fly.
Yeah.
But is it like the cost of production on it is nothing,
Oh, yeah.
right?
It's $5-10 bucks.
It's barely existing.
Yeah.
And the markup on it is like 5,000%.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
But it's artificial pricing for an artificial value created based on a premium product. That's all it is. It's basic economics.
Yeah. I mean, like, so interesting to you, Vivek, the history of this term. Before vinyl records used to be released to the public.
Mm-hmm.
So before there was official artwork or anything, promotional copies of vinyls were sent out in a white sleeve
Yeah.
to DJs
Oh, okay.
to solicit radio and nightclub play.
All right. We used to be
Yeah.
sent to DJ pools.
Yeah, an effort to build hype and gauge public interest by the record labels,
Yeah.
just to estimate manufacturing quantities.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, they covered that in the Get Down in the
Yeah.
Netflix show. Like they make a record, and they wanted to obviously sell, and so they go to a DJ pool to try to get the record played by like famous disco DJs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And now it's it's just Chinese companies outsourcing all this shit.
Well, that's what it is.
Yep.
All right, we got a little time left. We'll sneak one question in.
All right.
What's your biggest regret of 2019? Doesn't have to be in depth.
Biggest
Just
regret.
one thing you think about that you're like, fuck, I could have maybe done something different or better.
I mean, like the first thing that came to my mind was like, man, there's like certain bets and stuff I could have made.
Yeah, you're degenerate as fuck.
I don't know, man. Viv, you want to start?
Sure. I'm gonna go with not writing the California bar exam in July. I came back from LA.
Yeah.
And I was stone set on writing it in July.
Yeah.
And then I just got fucking lazy.
Yeah.
And now that's gonna cost me time. But yeah, that's my biggest regret by far. Apart from that, it's been a pretty. I just saw something on Twitter that was like the first half of 2019 and the second half of 2019 have been completely different for me.
Yeah.
And that's how my 2019's been. My first half was not. It was it was.
Well,
great.
you were in different.
It was
different
great.
places
The ending of 2019 hasn't been good at all, but yeah, it is what it is. But that's the one thing that I regret.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I can't really think of like a big regret.
It doesn't have to be big. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be big. Mine's a pretty big regret. but
How about you, Shrev?
Like I've mentioned it in the past episode, mine would just be fucking up an interview. I know that like the latter half of the year would have definitely been very different had that interview gone differently.
Yeah, it's crazy
Had I approached it in like a more professional manner,
Yeah.
my life the last 6 months would have been completely different.
Yeah.
And but I mean, hindsight is 2020, right?
Hindsight is 2020, man.
And can't really do anything to change that. You just try to better yourself. You learn from your mistakes, and you move on.
Yeah.
But in terms of like regret, like you gotta take life like for what it is.
Yeah.
Right. And regardless of how many ups and downs you have, like there's beauty in the consistency.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've learned.
There's beauty in the struggle.
No, well, not just the struggle. It's the beauty in the consistency. It's like you should really appreciate your day-to-day life, like what you gain from it, right? The relationships that you make along the way, the friendships that are strengthened day by day, everything, like the conversations that you have.
Yeah.
And every year, like you learn a little bit more about the people that you surround yourself with. You learn a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah.
And that shit's resonated with me for like the last 2-3 years, right? Is like I understand that there's going to be a boom bust cycle in my life as well, and I've just learned to appreciate the day to day a little bit more.
Yeah, I think my biggest regret, thinking about it now, is not going to a Raptors game. Not going to.
Hey, what a great year you've had, Amal, if that's your biggest regret.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, like, you're never gonna have. I mean, I shouldn't say never. I mean, the chances are that you won't get that opportunity.
You talking about going to the playoffs during the playoffs?
Yeah,
Oh,
during the
okay.
playoffs.
Yeah, you
like,
should have probably gone.
obviously, it would have been expensive as fuck. But I mean, like that.
Yeah, it would have cost you. It would set you back a couple grand, probably.
Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's not like you get that opportunity.
I'm just saying, like,
you know?
even in my times of low, there was so much to be grateful for. There was so much there was so much happiness in my life in other ways.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't think about like the whole, oh, it started off wonderfully, or it started off so shitty and then it got better. It's like I appreciate every day for what it is.
Yeah, I try to too, but I usually wake up around 2 or 3, so it makes it hard to appreciate the whole day. I wake up as dark.
Yeah,
as
half
shit.
a day and shit.
Oh, you know what it is though. You know the vibes. You know the
You
fucking
know the
vibes.
fucking vibes.
But yeah, on to 2020, man.
On
Hope-
to
hope
2020.
that shit
I
is-
mean, next episode we're gonna be talking a lot more about
yeah, we'll do the wrap.
2019 wrap up.
Yeah,
We're talking about our favorite music,
the decade wrap up. Yeah.
favorite artists, maybe a little bit of movies and entertainment in general. You know?
Yep.
Just a change in culture,
Yeah.
right? Because a lot has changed over the
A
last
lot has
decade.
changed. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna wrap up all of it with.
They say though that the first 2 years of any new decade are
More or less,
the same, and then then you get the defined next decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, think about early 90s, 90, 91, 92. That shit was just the 80s, bro.
Listen, bro. I was born in
You-
'93.
Okay,
All right,
I was
maybe
in 92. All right, late 92. I wasn't alive in 90. Y'all always making it seem like I'm older than I am, man. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it.
But you're older than us.
By like months, by 4 months between me and you and Amol.
Yeah, that's enough.
Shut up, bro.
That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
get out of my house, dog.
And on that note,
On that note, like Amul mentioned, we will be doing one last episode of 2019. It'll be about a recap of the decade. We'll be talking music, we'll be talking culture, we'll be talking about what our predictions are for the future. And yeah, like always, rate us on Apple Podcasts, subscribe to us, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go follow us on our Instagram page. It's at the One Mic Podcast. Until episode 13 comes out, which will again be the last episode of the year. We're out.
Easy.